Hey guys and girls, welcome back to another exciting episode of All About You. In today's segment, I will be talking about why relationships fail. As you may know, everyone went through all these experiences before, unless you're still a child or you're still growing and haven't really been, exposed to the world. And relationships start as early as when you are growing up, when you have a relationship with your mother, your father, the family, friends around you that basically watch you grow. So this is just a little bit of inside knowledge, especially if you're not really paying too much attention, since as we all know, this is mainly a gaming channel, specifically Dragon Ball related. A lot of people are in this mentality in their own world, so to speak. And there is some philosophy that I want to touch up on, which is basically called the blue pill and the red pill. These philosophies basically determine or really influence our way of living and our way of thinking, which a lot of people, other YouTubers, that I have listened to personally myself, which I will probably leave some links in the description below, essentially goes based off of this way of thinking. It's a specific mindset that individuals have started to implement in their lives, whether it's in the workplace, whether it's something that they're striving to achieve, or simply just relationships. Which this segment, we're going to be going over specifically relationships as to why they fail. So, one, the whole blue pill mentality, right? This is a philosophy that essentially you start learning from others as a child. You're growing, you're learning the world, but you may not be really learning the world through your own eyes. You're basically going over knowledge that is being passed down. So things of that nature is when you go to school. When you go to school, you're conditioned in a certain environment and you're basically conditioned on how to behave. And of course, the information you learn is based on the educational system. It differs everywhere around the world, so every country has their own way of teaching and their own subjects to teach. But when it comes down to it, you are taught what others want you to learn. You're not necessarily taught things that you need to really apply or be able to apply in your life, such as what do you do when you stop school? Once school is over, and once you graduate high school or graduate college, there isn't a necessary program that everyone is using that sets you off into a career or a job or helps you build your own dreams. A lot of these educational systems, they pretty much teach you this is what you should be, what you should contribute, how you should contribute to the world, and essentially that's what you go off from. I've also had other individuals reach out to me, especially when I was doing a lot more of my relationship topics in the past, as to what should I do in my life. And that's what they're referring to themselves. What should they do? And honestly, the best answer is whatever you feel like doing. It's you, it's your life. Whatever passion, desires you have, as long as it's not illegal and you can, get in big trouble for it, by all means, pursue it. Now some areas will be lucrative, certain professions, certain career paths will have a good amounts of money, while others may not. But whatever you want to choose in your life, that's what you should do, because it's all about you. It's literally your life. But now going back to this whole philosophy of the blue pill. The blue pill essentially means that you are unaware of things that are actually going on in life. You are conditioned essentially by whether it's your parents, family, people before you, the education system, whatever it is. There's so many ways to be influenced by others without actually seeing life through your own eyes. Essentially, when I start moving on to the red pill, you're going to see the difference of your mentality. So again, now we're going to apply this blue pill, mindset to a relationship. When I was small, I know my dad, my mom, family around me, they told me the best thing that you could do or what you should do is once you grow up, get a job, have a wife. Before obviously having a wife, get to know the girl, marry her, have kids, get a house, and live happily ever after. Kind of like that type of thing. It was like the American dream. I used to see commercials about it when I was younger. You see like a picket fence with a nice house with like a white family, and that was how it was. You know, whether you're white, black, Spanish, it doesn't matter. You know, the whole point was that's what you should achieve in life, and that's the dream. The dream is to live in that fashion. Now, that dream may actually be for you if that's what you want, but that doesn't necessarily mean that that is the dream. That's just a mindset that was conditioned, which again, I'll refer to the blue pill. The blue pill is again a situation where people are, or philosophy where people are conditioned by the things around them, by other people around them, where they get influenced to think a certain way. And it's not really coming from them, it's coming from the experiences and the things taught to them personally. So, in relationships, it was terrible because when I grew up, I was taught that I have to be very nice to girls. I have to, you know, buy them flowers. If you like a girl, buy her flowers, buy her candy, especially when I was at a younger age, like in 15, 16, around that age department, you know, right in high school or middle school going into high school. You know, this was the thing. You know, if you like a girl, show her that you like her by giving her certain things. Of course, again, associated with that, compliment her. Give her compliments, treat her nice, you know, take her out on a date, spend money on her, show her that you are interested. Now, while that may all be fine and dandy, that's not necessarily the best way to be in a relationship or to even get into a relationship. Sadly, we're in a different era, a different time period where that philosophy just doesn't really work. It works it might still work in certain countries, even certain people in this country, but overall, that mindset is flawed because a lot of women today, they're not thinking like that. They may say they might want something like that, like a nice guy, a guy to take care of them, you know, things of that nature, but that's not really what they want. And that's something that I have learned through my own experience, which is, again, where you start kind of learning life through your own eyes instead of what people are trying to convey. You want to learn for yourself. So you're basically, once you get to a certain point in your life and you notice that certain things are not working, it's up to you to venture out and try to find your own truth. And there are many truths out there. There are many philosophies, many ways to look at life. But what it comes down to is your own knowledge and your own perception of what is going on. You can even talk to your family, talk to friends, and gather ideas that may help you kind of recollect yourself and get more focus on what you should be, you know, paying attention to, especially when it comes to relationships. Now, I'm gonna tie this video all around why relationships don't work today. But now, as you guys already now know what the blue pill is, it's just, again, your way of thinking, but through other people's, you know, mindsets. Basically a conditioned way of thinking. That's all it is. And it's not your own. Now we're moving on to the red pill. The red pill is a little bit more interesting because the red pill is basically life through your own eyes. It's the way you think and the way that you interact from a day-to-day basis that basically makes you more red pill. Again, more in tune with that mindset. So for example, again, we were conditioned that doing all these things for women is the right thing. No. What you do want to do while you start following this red pill mentality is actually see how women behave, see what they want. And some women, unfortunately, because I know other channels, they kind of talk about women all being stereotypical, like they're all in one group, whether black, white, Spanish, or whatever. And again, I'll leave the YouTubers in the description below. But they tend to like bunch everyone up. Everyone is different, guys and girls. We're not all the same. Not all men are the same. Not all women are the same. And genetically speaking, you may be a man, but you may have a lot more Y chromosomes in your body. So that may also affect you as a person. We're not all built the same. You have men that are more feminine. You have women that are more masculine. So when we start bunching up all women being the same, it's not good, you know, because there's just so many types of people, so many ways of thinking, which is why seeing life through your own eyes is the best thing you can do. And seeking guidance from others that have a better or clear path of what they want to do in life is probably most, you know, advantageous at that point. So The red pill mindset is, especially when it comes to relationships, you just gotta now pay attention to what's going on. So in my experience, there are women that tend to gravitate to people who, or other men that don't necessarily treat them the greatest, don't necessarily pay them too much attention. And, overall, it's kind of like, if you show a woman too much attention, because back then, again, I was conditioned, and I know many of you were conditioned that if you show a lot of attention to a female that you like, that's going to help you get with her. That's going to help you eventually get married or whatever, whatever your dreams were or whatever you were brought up into. But again, that's not going to happen. A lot of women don't like that, unfortunately. You would think it's that simple. You just act nice or you be nice and it works. A lot of women, they go for the quote unquote bad guys, the thugs, the whatever, the people that seemingly are not good, and it's because they don't give a shit, and that's the sad truth. A lot of individuals that really don't care, and when I mean they don't give a shit, I mean they just don't care about the people that they interact with. So for example, if a guy goes up to the girl and, he tries to bag up the number, he has a goal in mind. And most of his goal is basically to have sex, essentially, excuse my French because I usually don't, curse too much on this channel, but essentially he wants to fuck her, right? That's his goal. So he's just going to go up to her, talk with her confidently, doesn't care whether she rejects him, doesn't care if he even goes through. His objective is to just get what he wants and leave it be. That's it, So when he approaches that woman notices that he has a different mindset. That woman notices that he's confident, and she basically feels like she's not relevant to him as much, as meaning you're not giving them power. You're not giving them that same focus that so many other men give them. Because the problem is that a lot of women now are conditioned that so many men give them compliments, so many men go above and beyond for a lot of women, that they lose sight of that. They're not interested in that anymore, or that way of thinking, or that way of being for that matter, because it's too generic. It's not exciting. There's nothing new about it. It's like every guy they come across treats them almost the same, which apparently that's not how they want to be treated. And it could be because they were treated like that a good portion of their life, and of course, the experiences that they went through. So essentially, when these guys come into their lives, they're not thinking like that. They're not focused on the woman in that sense. They just want to have sex, get it done, and have fun. That's it. So when a woman sees this, they might give them the number. They might end up talking with this guy. This guy doesn't text them back or call them back frequently. No, he doesn't really care. So when a woman ends up noticing, wow, this guy is not really into me like that, that gets to their subconscious. That actually, essentially from what other YouTubers said, it really gets into their mind frame where it's like, whoa, I'm used to getting all this attention. I wonder what's going on with this guy. So now they feel the need to reach out. They feel the need to show him attention. Now, ironically, it sucks because when they do this, they end up basically putting their attention and putting their time and value towards someone that may not really be worth it. Because honestly, the guy probably just doesn't care about you. But again, it's different from how they've been treated. It's different from what they have been experiencing. So that excitement comes out from that, and that also messes up with their mind frame, where now it causes them to have to shift the way they think. And once they start thinking differently, they start becoming more intrigued with this individual. It's like a light switch that hits, that flares on or gets turned on for that matter. And it allows them to really realize wow, this guy is interesting. There's something about him that I'm really attracted to. That's why a lot of women, they end up going for the thugs, the bad boys, the guys that basically seemingly don't give a shit, And it's because their mindset has been already conditioned a certain way. So when they see someone different, it's more attractive in that sense. Now, that's not going to apply to every woman, because I notice a lot of other YouTubers, they make it seem like that's the end all be all. Become a red pill individual, just focus on your own goals. Women are just there to, basically have sex with. And I'm not saying that's everyone's mindset that follows the red pill, philosophy. The whole point is you want to look at life through your own eyes, but you also want to retain your own values, your values, not what other values, not values that other people instilled in you, something that you feel is correct. Because what happens is when you start listening to other individuals and you start following them, because as you were a child, as you were growing, you started adapting all these things. And then later on in life, you realize it doesn't work. I remember when I had many conversations when my dad was around and still alive, where I used to talk to my dad and I used to tell him, I'm trying my best to get this girl, and for some reason, the things that I learned and that I was taught, they're not working. It just they didn't work. When I used to like a girl, I would bring her a flower or roses or whatever. I would bring her a box of chocolates when it was like, Valentine's Day, especially if I didn't have a girlfriend. I would just bring a girl that I like, flowers or a candy or whatever, and they would be thankful. They would accept my gifts. They weren't more attractive to me. They weren't attracted because of that. They weren't feeling like, oh, I owe him a date. No, they just didn't. It was just like, oh, thank you for the gift. And that's it. Go on their merry way. So again, now we're going to tie in this video for the last 4 minutes, because I want to make it about a 20-minute video. We're going to tie into why relationships don't work. Okay, so now we understand the blue pill mentality, the red pill mentality of, again, venturing out yourself, learning through your own eyes, through your own mind, and figuring what you desire as a person and put your own goals ahead of anything else for the most part. You're supposed to focus mainly on yourself and bettering yourself as a person, whether it's your money, getting your money up there, getting your goals as far as your talents, if you're an artist, any of any kind, make sure you're practicing. If you want to get a better body, get some guns, get fit, focus on that, because that's going to get you where you want to be, essentially, So red pill mindset, again, for all you guys that are listening, is to start seeing life through your own eyes. Don't pay attention too much from what you learn or from the other values other individuals instilled in you. Keep that there, keep it in mind, but don't necessarily follow it. Start learning life through your own eyes. That's all it is. So now, why relationships don't work? Simply put, we're different. And sometimes when you enter a relationship, unfortunately, women, their mindset is at the moment. And that's not all women, but that happens to be with many women that I personally encountered. Their mindset is more of they may talk about the future, they may talk about what they want and what they want to accomplish in the future, but it's living moment to moment basis. Notice, most women, they get, especially the most feminine women, they get dolled up, dressed up when they go to work, when they go into the corner store, when they're going out with friends. It really doesn't matter. They're always looking great. And sometimes even when they're in a relationship, they may not even focus so much on that. Sometimes, I know me per se, when I was in a relationship with this woman for about 2.5 years, she always needed to look her best everywhere she went, And I used to ask her hey, why are you getting dolled up and dressed up to go to the corner store? She's like, because I want to feel pretty. No, it's actually because she's more of an opportunist. She has a mindset, again, moment to moment. You never know who you're going to meet when you leave your house and you're out and about. You never know what you're going to encounter. Moment to moment basis can change. Whether you're married, in a relationship, whatever you are, whatever status you are, moment to moment can change. So for a woman, being at their best is the best advantageous thing for them, because essentially if they meet a guy that they're attracted to, if they meet someone that they feel will give more meaning to their life and really make them feel like they're getting a better, more bang for their buck, so to speak, it's like an upgrade, then it's good, because they're going to make sure that they're prepared to run into the right individual, or to be able to be around that individual that will take notice of them, because guys, we all know we are attracted to people that we are sexually into. So most guys, when you approach a woman, it's because 9 times out of 10 or greater, you want to have sex with that woman. It's just point blank. I know me, when I approach women, that's already my mindset. Unfortunately, it's not something that I'm really thinking about. It's just that I won't approach a girl that I'm not willing to have sex with, and that's just point blank. It's being honest. Women, moment to moment, things change. So relationships don't work, again, because we're different. And not just that we're different, but moment to moment, things change. Meaning that their feelings for you will end up changing. They may be in love with you or love you right now as we speak. Next day they may not, because something else got them attracted. They started to become attracted to something else, someone else. And unfortunately, a lot of people have this mindset of alpha and beta being like the husband material person, while alpha being the, you're always single, you're always what's the word? You're always the bachelor. You're always looking for the next big thing. You're always looking for the next woman. You basically have a very selfish mentality. You're all about self. You're not really worrying about others. That's more of the alpha mentality versus the beta mentality. You're worried about the person you're with, And sadly, the attraction is more with the alpha males, people that are focused on themselves, people that are willing to do whatever it takes for themselves. They don't really worry about others. That starts attracting. It may be a sad reality or a sad truth, but as we start progressing, I know as you start literally viewing lives, your life through your own eyes and your scenarios and what you go through, you start to notice why women don't necessarily like the quote unquote nice guys and why relationships don't work. You start getting complacent. A lot of people, when they're in a relationship in the beginning, it's amazing. The first few weeks, months, maybe even year for that matter, might be great. But then as you start going down the lane, as your time passes by, you get more complacent because you're like, that's my girl, that's my wife, that's my whatever. So you stop trying, and that goes for both sides at times. But if a woman is still looking for an upgrade, notice she'll always be on her A game. She'll always try to make sure that she's on her A game. Whether she's going out with friends, going out again with family, going to the corner store, it doesn't matter. If you see that your girl is always being, out and about and always ready to dress to impress, for essentially those reasons, that's just something that you just have to keep an eye out for, and just don't get too caught up in your emotions, because a lot of relationships, unfortunately, are not meant to last. I know monogamy is a thing, and I sometimes wish that I can be in a world where monogamy is the thing, but it may not be, And as I keep living and learning, I notice that people typically break up with others very quickly. And it doesn't take too long to pretty much squash a relationship just to go to the next best thing. Especially, both parties do it. Now, I'm just focusing, again, I'm a male that's focusing on women in this discussion. But obviously we do know that there are men that are doing very similar things. There are men that if they find another more attractive woman, they'll literally ditch the woman that they're with for the other attractive woman, or the guy or the woman that makes them really, like, rocks their world, especially if they're seeing multiple partners. But guys and girls, this video lasted a little bit longer than what I intended. But again, if you take anything away from this video, it's just to kind of focus more on you. I'm not going to say to really dive in deep with this whole alpha beta mentality or red pill, blue pill. There's just many ways to think. There's many ways to be. And the most important thing you want to do is be yourself, but make sure that you are aware of what's going on around you, especially if let's say you are single and you are trying to get with a woman. Again, you could be nice, you could have certain values that you were taught, it's fine. But you have to understand that a lot of these things that you were taught don't work. They just don't work anymore. Back then, women had less rights, Women are now more equalized. There's more things, more opportunities for women in general. You have to realize that if they're on equal grounds or equal settings, especially with social media, that's a whole nother topic, for another day. But social media has a big role as to why a lot of relationships just don't last, and to why a lot of women, not to get too geared off, they are overly confident within themselves. Basically you can say cocky, conceited, and they feel like they can just do anything they want because, again, the attention that we give as men, which I'll talk about that in another video. But, make sure that you like, subscribe, make sure you comment your own thoughts, your own experiences. I want to listen to and hear what you have to say. Mainly I want to read what you want to say. And, we're going to keep these conversations going. I feel like they're very healthy in order to develop your character. And again, these things can be applied in the card game as well, but essentially more so your confidence. But anyways, thank you for watching. And as always, this channel is all about you.